All right, everyone, welcome back. Since we recently, in our last lecture, we covered all the CURD operations, you can say, in related to categories. So I was working on this user section. So users is also basically a CURD operation. So there is no need to show everything, except we will focus on main points. So there is one important thing that I would like to discuss is that here in the user section, if I try to add any user and if I submit the user, so and I come back to the all users section, so here you can see that this is the user that is created and the default status of this user is inactive. Okay, now why is that and what's the reason and what do we need to do? If you remember that when we were basically registering our users from the front end, we were sending the email to the users so that they can verify their accounts, and then they can and once their accounts are verified, only then the user's status is also changed. Now in that section, what we did is basically in our register controller, we were basically logging the user and sending the email to the user so that they can register. Now, the other scenario is that for this on our user section, I created a resource controller and I did everything the same. But if you take a look at here, I missed one thing, and that is basically to send the email to verify their account. Now that is something very critically important, and it's the reason is that if we are going to miss things like that, if some other developer comes to the organization and he tries to register or do any sort of thing and forgets to include what is necessary in the other controllers, that will create a problem. And the other thing is that this is also not a centralized approach. The centralized approach should be is like no matter from where the user is registered, either the user is registered from the mobile application via APIs, or the user is registered from the front end or back end, no matter however the user is registered, we need to make sure that the email does goes out to the user. And for that reason, what we need to do is basically we need to create an observer. So observer is basically observes the model that we define and tell the observer, so you need to look at this model, whatever the changes happen, you need to perform certain operations. So in order to create observer, you have to run this command php artisan make observer, give the name of your observer. In this scenario, I have used the user observer and the model is equals to observer. And I have created this observer, so here is the observer. Now what I need is basically I need to extract this line of code, cut this from here and paste it inside our user observer like so, and make sure you also import the registered event as well. This is the first step. The second is basically we need to remove the unwanted files or use cases that are not used in our controller. Now this section is completed. What else do we need? So still, if I try to create a user, if I go and add a user, and if I try to let's fake fill our data and click on submit, the user is still being created. uh, but we need to have a way is that which tells the user that whenever the user registers, we should get an email. Now the last step that we need to define, and that is really important, is that we need to go to our user model, and inside the user model, all above the top here, we need to use this attribute. Now in Laravel 11, we have been introduced with new attributes method. So here this observed by attribute and then user observer will do the work. In the previous versions of Laravel, as far as I remember, is that in Laravel 10, we were basically had to go to the event service provider and have to define all the events and observers was there. But with Laravel 11, this is the really important and very short way of defining that. So we can define observed by and then the user observer. And now this what it does is basically it automatically sends the email from no matter where we register. So I registered the user from here. Now if I log out the user, so let me just log out the user and try to register the user from front end. Just fake fill the data, click on sign up. I will be logged in, but the email will also trigger. Okay. So if I now take a look at here, so you can see a few seconds ago, email has been triggered. I am logged in, but if I do not register my verify my email address, I will not be able to go into my dashboard pages. All right, so this is the thing that I wanted to highlight here, a very important thing, and this centralized this logic. So no matter from wherever the user is now being created, even in future if you want to develop APIs, so that will also do the work. That's it for this one, and I will see you in the next one.